Why are 90% of enterprises totally failing to see an ROI on AI? And why is consumer tech secretly the biggest opportunity out there right now? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, it's zero fluff. We're extracting the raw, unfiltered blueprint directly from Mark Pincus, one of tech's absolute sharpest product minds, to figure out exactly how to build things people actually love.
So those two questions, they expose a massive, gaping disconnect in the market right now. Keep them in the back of your mind because the answers we're going to unpack today will completely change how you approach building products.
Section 1. The Consumer AI Paradox.
Look, VCs are out there loudly declaring that consumer tech is uninvestable right now. But at the exact same time, legendary founders are telling us the opportunity has literally never been bigger. And here's the exact unfiltered data point driving that whole paradox: 90%. That is the percentage of enterprises investing heavily in AI that haven't seen any tangible benefit yet. They're pouring in millions, but because they aren't touching the actual end user, they're seeing zero return.
And that brings us to a massive mindset shift from Pincus. He says, great product makers are collecting winnings, not making bets. Think about that. We aren't just guessing what might stick in the consumer space. Instead, we're applying a rigorous tested system so that when we do launch, we already know we've got a hit on our hands.
Section 2. The Proven Better New Playbook.
All right, let's dive into the strict product creation framework used to engineer those massive hits. It breaks down into 3 buckets. First, you have the proven category. This is where you literally just legally copy existing mechanics without innovating at all. Like, say, copying the basic transcription and UI layout for an AI note taker. Next is better. This is where you engineer the friction out completely. We're talking zero latency, half the price, or just totally free. And finally, new. This is your highly focused out-of-distribution risk. It's the one feature you actually assume is going to fail, like an always-on background listening mode.
But here is the absolutely crucial rule for that better category. 10 out of 10 existing users must definitively agree that your feature is an upgrade. No debate. If you claim it's better, but only 7 people agree with you, well, it's not better. It has to be an absolute, undeniable friction killer for all 10.
Section 3. Surviving the product abyss.
Now, knowing the framework is really only half the battle, right? You still have to navigate the psychological reality of actually building consumer products. Pincus defines this concept called the abyss. It is this painful void you fall into where absolutely nothing excites you. But, and this is key, it is a mandatory phase. It's the exact time when founders have to actively expand their taste zones and explore new inspiration before the true signal finally returns.
And when that signal does return, the results are staggering. 2 million. That's the exact number of downloads Pincus's first company, Freeloader, hit in month 1, all the way back in 1995. How did he do it? By exiting the abyss and ruthlessly applying that better rule we just talked about. He took an already proven screensaver and simply made it free.
To really grasp mass scale, look at this number: 4,500,000. Pincus anchors his whole understanding of consumer tech to this one specific memory of opening up Napster and seeing exactly 4.5 million connected machines and 15,000 song copies available right there on the network. That right there is the raw electric power of true consumer networking. People looking through the network directly at each other.
Section 4. The real founder mode. To actually manage that kind of mass scale, we have to challenge this weird, toxic narrative that founder mode is only reserved for elite billionaires. It applies to every single builder. Pincus puts it perfectly. Leadership is presence, not absence. You can't manage a scaling consumer company from some ivory tower. You have to be in the room, paying exhaustive attention to every little detail, until you can definitively install processes that will execute perfectly when you finally do step away.
And whatever you do, avoid this massive trap. Do not contort yourself into being an expert witness in your own company. You know, the person who's closest to the answer but somehow furthest from actually making the decision, usually because they're compromising to please investors or a board. Don't do it. You have to retain your power as the owner. You are the star player who bet on themselves. Basically, don't build a house you don't actually want to live in.
Section 5. The AI token cost curve.
So why is consumer AI so incredibly hard right now? Well, it honestly comes down to the raw, hardcore economics of compute. $1.1 million. That is the exact monthly token spend of developer Peter Steinberger while building the open source platform OpenClaw. He is literally doing the work of 1,000 people by just squandering tokens. And yeah, this level of compute is completely magical, but right now, it is priced entirely as an enterprise luxury.
Because these tools are changing so fast, the way we build has to evolve too. 500,000. That's the exact coding failure metric Pincus admitted to. Writing 500,000 lines of legacy Rails code just to call LLMs is officially a dead paradigm. The new reality? Writing 10 to 20 times less markdown to essentially teach the LLMs to write the code for you.
So when exactly does this highly capable AI become cheap enough for the mass consumer market? Let's walk through this specific historical timeline. Back in 1995, Freeloader proved the absolute power of free on the web. But it wasn't until the fall of 2002 that Amazon's metrics finally climbed consistently. Fast forward to December 2023, and we hit the Opus 4.5 AI capability moment. If we follow that exact same historical lag, the true unlimited consumer AI revolution is projected for 2029.
And that timeline is totally validated by this mind-blowing projection, 10,000. We are looking at a 10,000x increase in inference capabilities in the coming years. When that happens, intelligence literally becomes like water, unlimited, just on tap. That's the exact moment the cost curve drops enough to spark the next massive consumer boom.
Section 6. Hardcore Review and Takeaway.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, so let's rattle off this high-density checklist and lock in the exact metrics we just pulled. A 90% enterprise AI ROI failure rate, 2 million month one downloads for Freeloader, 4.5 million connected Napster machines, that bleeding-edge $1.1 million monthly token spend on OpenClaw, 500,000 lines of legacy code replaced entirely by AI Markdown, and lastly, a 10,000x future inference increase that's going to unlock the whole consumer market.
Which brings us directly to today's core takeaway. Here is your highly actionable operating system. Survive the abyss by ruthlessly copying the proven, engineering friction out of the better, and isolating your risk entirely to the new.
Now it's time for our hardcore debate, and I am throwing this specific question straight to you. 针对 proven better new 框架，你认为是天才设计还是必踩大坑？理由是什么？ I really want you to take a definitive stance here. What's your reasoning?
Drop your answer in the comments right now. We're having a massive debate down there, so definitely jump in. And as a bonus, just by leaving a comment, you'll automatically receive the complete tool list and the high-res mind map for this explainer. So get in the comments and keep building what they love.